last week I went through with you how to work a chain in crochet, and that will set you up for making one of these lovely triangle scarves. These use chains and British trebles, and having practiced doing your chains, you will have the right movement for working your trebles. So when we're in the shop, this is usually our beginner's crochet workshop. However, we can't run workshops at the moment, so I will run through with you how to make one of these shawls now. You're going to need a hook. I recommend using one slightly bigger than recommended for your yarn, and some yarn. The shawl itself takes 100 grams of sock yarn. I recommend using a 4.5 or even a 5mm crochet hook, especially if you're a beginner. It just means that your stitches are going to be looser and easier to work into. So to begin with, we're going to work 4 chains. Absolutely simple. Hopefully you've been practicing that over the last week. Set my hand up, and 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to work 2 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles into this first chain here. Now these 3 chains are the height of a treble. So at the start of every row, we're going to end up using 3 chains to replace a treble. It will become more obvious as you work it. But to work a treble, we go yarn around our hook, just like we're about to start a chain. But now what we're going to do, I use this finger just to hold my stitches on my hook, and we're going to go into this first chain down here and give it a bit of a wiggle. So we're looking like that. There's 3 loops on your hook, and now yarn around again and pull that through, just that 1 loop, that chain, to the front. Now you've got 3 loops on your hook. We're going to go round again, so there's 4 loops now. What you're going to do is pull this loop here through these 2, just the 2. Pull through 2, yarn around, and then pull through the last 2. And that's 1 treble. So to do that again, go yarn around the hook, through that chain or that stitch, yarn around the hook, pull it through to the front of your work. Notice that I'm using my index finger here to just secure my stitches so they don't move around too much. Oops, that's the problem when they move around too much, they'll just pop off the hook. And then yarn around, and the general rule with crochet, pull through 2, 2, 2. That's our first little cluster. Now we're going to chain 2 and then work another 3 trebles into that first chain. 1, 2, 3. That's the start of our shawl. You can just snug that slip knot up to close that gap. Now we're going to flip this over. So this is the side we've just been working on. Flip it over, and then the start of this round is chain 3 to get us up to the height of the treble. And now we're going to work 2 trebles into this first stitch just here. So round to work the treble. If I really open this up, can you see you've got your gap here, and then you've got this little space in your stitch. That's where you're going to work into, not into the gap, but into that space there. It doesn't matter too much for this pattern, but some patterns it will just help keep your stitches in position. So we're going to work 2 trebles into there. 1, 2. So it looks like there's 3 stitches because this chain that we started with, our turning chain, is acting like a treble. Now we're going to do 1 chain And then this is our center of our shawl, and into this gap we're doing 3 treble, 2 chain, 3 treble. Remember, this is all using British terminology, not American terminology. That's 3 treble, 2 chain, 3 trebles, so that's our center. So that's what we always work in our center. Now we're going to work 1 chain and then 3 trebles into the top of this turning chain from the previous row. So not into the gap, into that little hole there. If you can just about see it, just in there. So 3 trebles. You can see it's starting to take the shape of a triangle. I'll just show you. I've got the finished one here. So this is the very start up here. And you can see how you're just going to keep doing these triangles. So the next row is all you're going to need for making the rest of the shawl. It's just a repeat of row 3, which is chain 3 for your turning chain. Make sure you're working on the right side. 1, 2, 3. 2 trebles into that treble down there. And now we're going to work chain 1, 3 trebles into 1 chain space until we get to the center of our work. So it's, at the moment it's only going to be 1, but on other rows it could be 20. So chain 1, 3 trebles into the 1 chain space until you reach the center. So now I've reached the center. I'm going to chain 1. So the chain 1s sit over the clusters, and in your center stitch, same as the previous row, it's 3 treble, 2 chain, 3 treble. 1, 2 chain. So you're only working 2 chain to work kind of your corner, your centerpiece. 2, 3. If you're not too sure how many you've done, you can really open it up and you can see the 3 stitches. You've got 1, 2, 3. Now 1 chain, 3 trebles in each 1 chain space until last cluster. 1 chain, 3 trebles. I've reached my last cluster, so I'm going to chain 1 and then work 3 trebles into that top bit of that turning chain from the last row. And that is all it is, just a repeat of row 3 now. I have got the pattern for this on my Ravelry. I'll pop a link in the description to it. Remember, it uses British terminology and it's got full charted instructions, photos and written instructions, and I really hope that you guys have enjoyed watching this video and this little series of videos of beginner crochet workshops. I hope one day soon to see you all back in the shop for workshops, and drop some photos on Instagram if you have followed this using the hashtag prolific crafting, and I would love to see all your creations. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you again next Monday. Bye!